you think would win in a fight between Luke Cage and Black Lightning, the clash of muscle and electric power? Luke Cage, also known as Carl Lucas, was once a wrongly accused prisoner who volunteered for a scientific experiment. This experiment transformed him into a man with super durable skin that cannot be penetrated by bullets, knives, or even small missiles. Along with that, he has superhuman strength, allowing him to lift tons of weight, withstand the strongest physical attacks, and heal quickly. Black Lightning, whose real name is Jefferson Pierce, is an educator and former Olympic athlete who possesses the innate ability to manipulate electricity. He can shoot lightning bolts, create electric shields, fly using magnetic fields, and can even disrupt electronic devices. Unlike Luke Cage, Jefferson fights with a sharp mind, exploiting his opponent's weaknesses with tactics and the ability to adjust his energy extremely flexibly. Before we dive into the analysis, please click the subscribe button, please remember to turn on notifications, and click the bell icon. Thank you very much. Both Luke Cage and Black Lightning possess a bold and unmistakable fashion sense. Jefferson Pierce, who later became known as Black Lightning, was an excellent athlete in silence. At the age of 18, he qualified for the Olympics and won a medal in at least one event. Many sources say that at the age of 22, he returned to the Olympics and won a gold medal in the decathlon. This is one of the most grueling challenges, lasting 2 days and including events such as the pole vault, javelin, hurdles, and 3 separate sprints, a record that makes one wonder if he should have become a professional athlete. However, instead of pursuing a career in sports, Jefferson Pierce chose to study English, become a teacher, and use his abilities and knowledge to serve the community. While that has nothing to do with his superhero abilities, he is known as Black Lightning not because of his athletic prowess, but because of his formidable strength. Both Lightning Lad and Lightning Lord, 2 characters from the DC Universe, possess the power of an actual lightning bolt, or about 300 million volts. This is obviously a huge number, given the potential power they can generate. While electricity is not a field I am particularly knowledgeable about, Black Lightning is at least on par with Electro in terms of power. What is more noteworthy is that he has used his powers intentionally to cause death. In the case of about 4,000 volts of electricity, which is generally considered enough to cause death, he can generate enough electricity to kill up to 2,500 people, and that's not even considering whether he decides to use his power in a humane way, i.e. rendering his opponent unconscious before inflicting serious damage. What's really worrying is the prospect of Jefferson possessing the power equivalent of a natural lightning bolt. With a voltage of up to hundreds of millions of volts, he could destroy up to 75,000 lives in an instant. Not to mention, the accompanying heat is enough to melt sand, dirt, and many other materials to create fulgurite, a natural glass that forms when lightning strikes the ground. Assuming Black Lightning does possess such power, it seems that he rarely, if ever, uses it to its full potential under normal circumstances. None of his opponents have ever been seen to suffer serious burns or bear the characteristic scorch mark of a lightning strike. This suggests 2 possibilities. Either he actively restrains his power to avoid causing serious damage. Either way, the sight of someone being struck by lightning is not a pleasant one. If Black Lightning is truly as powerful as his name suggests, i.e. possesses abilities comparable to a natural lightning bolt, then he would be a serious threat. Jefferson's electrical abilities are highly applicable. He can manipulate electromagnetic fields, fly, transform himself into electricity, create defensive force fields, heal himself, and even increase his physical strength and durability. To be honest, I have never seen him directly use his ability to enhance his physical abilities in specific situations. Black Lightning is an entity with a high level of electrical manipulation. He can release extremely powerful electric currents to attack enemies, create electrical shields for defense, and even paralyze an opponent's nervous system in a split second. In some special situations, he can also move at speeds close to that of electricity, allowing him to approach or retreat in combat extremely effectively. Black Lightning is also known for his sharp intellect and outstanding leadership skills. He was a teacher, which not only shows his education, but also reflects his pedagogical skills, ability to impart knowledge, as well as his patience in leading others. This helps him maintain his fighting spirit, making quick and accurate decisions in high-pressure situations. Black Lightning's arch-nemesis is Tobias Whale, an organized crime boss, former politician, and current leader of a crime syndicate called the 100. His conflicts with these forces often go beyond the usual battles, as they represent a battle between justice and the structural criminal system that affects public life. This is what makes Black Lightning's role so special in a world full of complexities and injustices. Subscribe to the channel, it helps us a lot, and moreover, you will see great videos every day. You are the best. Thank you very much. Luke Cage, real name Carl Lucas, was a victim of a wrongful conviction. While serving his sentence at Seagate Prison, he volunteered to participate in a medical experiment to reduce his sentence. This experiment resulted in an unexpected result. His cellular structure was permanently altered, giving him super hard skin and regenerative abilities far beyond those of a normal human. Luke's epidermis is bulletproof, fireproof, and can withstand many forms of moderate to extreme physical damage, including explosions and high-speed collisions. This makes him virtually immune to conventional weapons, making him a very difficult character to defeat in combat. In addition to his nearly indestructible skin, Luke also possesses superhuman strength, allowing him to lift or tear apart objects weighing up to several tons without much effort. With his bio-enhanced muscles, he can destroy concrete walls, lift cars, and withstand direct blows from beings of superior strength. Although Luke Cage is not formally trained in classical martial arts, he has extensive street fighting experience. His style is unpretentious, yet extremely practical. Each punch is heavy, making the most of his physical strength to quickly and effectively defeat his opponents. He often uses simple but precise movements. Although he can confront enemies with his fists, he is still a person who puts the community's interests first, often protecting his neighborhood and using his powers responsibly. In the superhero world, where many characters are caught up in cosmic or global conflicts, Luke Cage still maintains a simple but valuable thing, and his journey cannot be without dangerous enemies. The three most prominent names are Diamondback, Cottonmouth, and Bushmaster. These are all villains who not only possess physical strength or social power, but also carry deep, even personal connections to Luke's past. Willis Stryker was Luke Cage's childhood friend, however jealousy and betrayal turned their relationship into animosity. Stryker was directly involved in Luke's wrongful imprisonment and was a dangerous arms dealer. He was not only a skilled fighter, but also a cunning strategist, often using advanced technology and custom-made weapons to confront Luke Cage. Cottonmouth, or Cornell Stokes, was a powerful and ruthless drug lord in Harlem. He had extensive influence in the organized crime world, and was not afraid to use violence to maintain his position. As the leader of many illegal activities, Cottonmouth often clashed with Luke in an effort to cleanse the neighborhood of moral and social corruption. John MacGyver, on the other hand, was a rival with more cultural depth and complex motivations. He is from Jamaica and has a personal grudge against the Stokes family, which is Cottonmouth's family. Possessing superhuman strength thanks to a special herb, Bushmaster is a formidable fighter with excellent hand-to-hand combat skills and a strong will for revenge. When facing Luke, the confrontations between Luke Cage and these three enemies are not simply battles between good and evil, but also a reflection of social issues such as corruption, organized violence, and personal conflicts. Despite possessing the ability to enhance physical strength and durability, Black Lightning is still no match for Luke Cage after the battle between Luke Cage and Namor. Although the result was a defeat for Luke, it is worth noting that he did not suffer any injuries or damage. Namor is considered one of the most physically powerful mutants, and even he could not harm Luke. This illustrates the fact that Luke Cage, the hero of Harlem, imagine being exposed to an explosion equivalent to 150 pounds of TNT, being thrown off a 90-story building, or being shot in the chest with a 50 caliber machine gun. Not only does Luke Cage survive, he gets back up in a state of rage, ready to fight again. In terms of strength, Luke Cage seems to have gotten stronger as he matures, although he hasn't reached the level of the 100-ton plus group that includes characters like Namor, Thor, or The Thing. Luke can still perform military-grade bench presses weighing between 50 and 70 tons. Imagine splitting the Statue of Liberty into two equal parts. Luke is perfectly capable of picking up one of the halves and handling it in a way that few people can imagine. That ability is not just a demonstration of pure muscle power, but also clearly shows that he is one of the characters with superior physicality. Muscles not only give Luke Cage superior strength and durability, but also give him incredible speed and jumping ability. While he doesn't have the agility of Toad or the overwhelming strength of Hulk, with his current physique, Luke can still perform impressive jumps that are completely capable of competing with a professional athlete like Nikola Jokic. His muscles do not produce lactic acid or fatigue toxins, allowing him to maintain high performance for long periods of time without losing stamina. Additionally, Luke possesses a high level of healing ability, allowing him to recover quickly from injury. Combining all these factors, Luke Cage is truly an entity with a strong and comprehensive physical system, worthy of the title Hero of Harlem. According to Luke Cage's inner thoughts, a tense confrontation with the Constrictor has the potential to lead to an extremely bad outcome. Although it cannot be confirmed that Luke can be electrocuted to death, it is highly likely that he will fall into a state of unconsciousness if attacked properly. Just a moment of lapse of consciousness or slow reaction is enough to cause him to accept defeat. What is special here is that Jefferson does not need any metal threads to conduct electricity. His power originates from his body, which means that his ability to attack with electricity is completely flexible and does not depend on supporting equipment. With that advantage, Jefferson can completely win the confrontation if Luke does not use his sharp mind and quick reflexes. However, Luke Cage is not an individual who stands still over time. As mentioned earlier, he has become increasingly stronger, both physically and in combat experience. The development of strength does not only come from muscles. In fact, Luke has overcome situations where his enemies seem to have cornered him many times. Luke has shown surprisingly superior strength against a seemingly invincible opponent. Especially against those with unlimited strength like Jefferson, Luke does not rely only on pure strength, but also bets on will and experience. When Iron Man activated the protective force field so that Luke Cage could approach and interrogate the supervillain Electro, Max Dillon suddenly fainted. This reaction is extremely unusual and leads to two main possibilities. One is that Electro may have an irrational fear of Luke, which we can rule out since Max is a New Yorker. He was fully aware of his powerlessness against Luke Cage and chose to mentally surrender as a defensive response. The force field created by Iron Man did not nullify Electro's ability to manipulate electricity. It was clear that he could still use his powers within the range of that protective layer. However, Electro himself seemed to quickly realize that no matter how strong his electrical powers were, they were not enough to harm Luke Cage, an entity that was virtually immune to conventional physical attacks, including high voltage electrical energy. This was not only a tense situation, but also a prime example of Luke's psychological strength and dominance in combat. Max's choice to pass out rather than confront him was also a silent admission that Luke Cage was not someone he wanted to mess with. In the world of supervillains, where ego and arrogance often outweigh reason, Electro's actions reflected a rare level of lucidity. Instead of struggling in vain, he chose to retreat in the least damaging way. Even if I assume that Jefferson Pierce possesses a greater ability to control electricity than Electro, it is unlikely that a single bolt of lightning could finish off Luke, although it is rare and comes with serious damage. But Luke Cage is no ordinary man. He possesses a body that is virtually immune to physical attacks, and it has such high biological durability that it is difficult to cause serious harm with mere electricity, even if it is generated by an entity as powerful as Black Lightning. Instead, Jefferson often chooses to restrain himself, using his powers carefully and responsibly, especially when facing someone he sees as a victim of circumstance rather than a true villain. However, this restraint can become a fatal weakness when facing an opponent like Luke Cage. Not only does Luke possess superior physical strength, but he is also naturally resistant to electricity, which makes Black Lightning's attacks almost ineffective. Luke's physical abilities are enhanced to the point where he can withstand explosions, artillery shells, and of course massive amounts of electricity. Meanwhile, Black Lightning is still limited. And that's the key point. When one side is fighting with everything they have and the other side is holding back for the sake of ideals, the advantage is overwhelmingly on the side of the one who can dominate without having to worry about the consequences. That's why, despite my respect for Jefferson Pierce, I still believe that Luke Cage will be the last one standing in a confrontation between these two entities. Even if Black Lightning were to completely transform into electricity, this ability is not limitless. In fact, Jefferson Pierce rarely uses this form in battle. The reason is that it consumes a huge amount of energy in a short period of time, leaving him vulnerable to exhaustion after the transformation ends. When that happens, the advantage is overwhelmingly on Luke Cage's side. With superior physical strength, near invulnerable durability, and ever-increasing strength, Luke was able to defeat Jefferson Pierce when his opponent had exhausted most of his energy. The battle will end with Luke Cage decisively defeating Black Lightning, not because of Jefferson's weakness, but because Luke's pure physical fighting ability is too overwhelming. However, what is precious about both of these characters is that they are not sworn enemies filled with hatred, but rather rational, idealistic, and compassionate people. Therefore, after all the conflicts are resolved, both of them will easily find common ground. I imagine them sitting together, no longer in a fighting stance, but as two grown men resolving conflicts in a civilized manner. A moment that is not only memorable, but also fully reflects the positive spirit and solidarity that both Jefferson Pierce and Luke Cage always pursue. I hope you enjoy this battle. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Follow me if you like. That's it for today's video. Thank you very much.